Oh, I've been running from the law. Hope they won't shoot me down soon. They sing on a sleepless night. Try to catch me howling at the moon.
Hey guys, welcome back to the outfit. On this episode, we take you along the Vic High Country. So we actually camped last month, but couldn't explore and do most tracks because of the bushfires. So now that we are back on the mainland after Tasmania, we've decided to actually make a detour and come here.
Yeah, so we're starting in Dargo, and we don't know much about the place, but we've got a few tracks we really want to tick off. We've got Billy Goats Bluff Track, which is apparently very, very steep. Looking forward to that one. We've got Dingo Hill and Butcher Country. So just gonna ticky tour around the Victoria High Country for a few days and see what it has to offer. Now, we've just about hit 2,000 subs on our YouTube channel. Just wanna say a huge thank you. We're overwhelmed by the support, all the comments we get.
Yes.
Really cool that people in America are now seeing our stuff. And to be honest, when we started the channel, we had no idea anyone would even be interested. But we've been speaking about it all morning about how well it's going.
Yeah,
and
it means a lot to us.
Yeah, it means so much. It's really cool. It's a lot of work, but we really enjoy it. It means we can even slow down and take in the scenery even more because we're out filming the whole time and whatnot. So again, thanks so much, guys.
Thank you.
Plenty more to come. Made it to the Dargo Hotel. Pretty famous pub in the Vic High Country. Alrighty, so ready to drop tire pressures now that we're about to hit Billy Goat Bluff Track. So far all I've done is remove the detachable mud flaps. I've chucked them in the trasharoo. And I'm going to use my tire deflators to take down all 4 tires. They're at road pressure now, so in the rear, these are hot, so they'll be 2 or 3 psi more than when they're cold. So at the moment, we're about 34 psi, which is my road pressure for the rears. I'll run slightly lower in the front, usually, just because the rear carries much more weight. So I'll drop this one down to 20 psi. And then I will show you how I set the tire deflators, which are very handy. So super stoked with this ARB digital scale. It was pretty pricey, but it's really good. You're not stuffing under the readout, and it seems to be really accurate and really well built, which you'd hope so for that cash anyway. Alrighty, so I've taken one rear tire down to 21 psi. I will take the fronts down to 20. Now, I use these Storm tire deflators that we got recently. Because we're going up and down in pressures a lot, it's probably worth it. We've used them quite a bit already. Now, to set these, make sure your cap's all the way down. So screw one on all the way in, so she's nice and tight. And then you pull the cap out. So you back that off until you hear the air, and then tighten it back up. So that's set the 21 psi pressure. Now I'm just going to tighten up that lockout ring so she's nice and tight there, and now it's set. So I just pull that off, and now if you come around this way, all I've got to do is screw it onto this one, which now probably has about 34 psi, and it will drop pressures automatically. That's all you got to do, just wait for it, because it pops the valve out.
We've just finished having lunch. Now I'm having a quick coffee to be on top of my game for some epic 4-drive action coming up. I need to be, again, the spotter, so thank you so much for all your nice comments on the Climbies video. I'm not an expert, so that was really encouraging for me, so I can't wait to tackle more tracks.
Yeah, thumbs up if you think Ange crushed that Climbies track spotting. She helped out so much, and then I tried a little bit on Mount McCall and I sucked. So yeah, I need to do a lot more practice myself doing some spotting. And now we're going to tackle what's called the Billy Goats Bluff Track, which as far as I'm aware is the tallest, steepest track in Australia. So this should be pretty interesting. Alright, so we are at the helipad on Billy Goats Bluff Track. We still have this range to come up, but it's absolutely awesome up here. This is the helipad, and this is what we just came up.
I can testify, it's steep.
Okay, that was the steepest part there by a long way. Some decent rock steps. Again, cameras don't really do it justice, but yeah, that looks pretty awesome. Just past a couple of big Nissan Patrols, and we got one, looks like maybe a Hilux from here coming towards us. So we've completed Billy Goat Bluff Track. It was really cool. Super steep in parts, but nothing was really hairy. Just with good tire pressures, nice and slow. We didn't need the lockers at any stage. There were no rock steps that were really high, so you don't even need too much clearance. So you could just rock up it. I'd prefer to go up it than down. Down would just be an exercise in engine braking and brakes the whole time. And now we are on our way to the Pinnacles.
Yeah, so I didn't even need to spot, which is pretty cool. I could just focus on the filming this time. So we'll see after the Pinnacles where we camp for tonight.
It's about 4:30 now, so we'll check out Pinnacles and then, yeah, find a camp spot. So the setup is constantly evolving. After Tasmania, we decided to give ourselves a little bit more juice. So I've rigged up a 160 watt semi-flexible solar panel that goes to just a really basic MVP solar controller, and that plugs straight into the dual battery. We're finding if we stay at a campsite for more than, say, 2 nights, our battery needs a charge from the alternator, so I have to start the car up, which obviously isn't ideal, especially if we want to stay somewhere for a bit longer than that. So I'm hoping this solar setup will really help with that. Already it's made a big difference, even just today. I rigged that up yesterday. And also I got around to wiring up the 4, so 2 on this side, 2 on the other, camp lights to an in-cab switch. So it's those bad boys there, and that also controls the 2 on the front. And then finally, more as a precaution, Ange and I decided to get a jump starter just in case the battery died on us ever one day. Super small, doesn't take much room, and that'll jumpstart the battery, and then we can just charge it with our inverter afterwards. So kind of just as a precaution, just in case.
Okay, so we've got our map for the next coming days, our itinerary across the Vic High Country. So we stay in Dargo. We've done quite a bit today, and we are on the Pinnacles area now. We found a pretty amazing campsite. So we just parked the Jeep, and this is the view. This amazing valley just in front of us. And obviously no one around. It's not like an official campsite or anything. We just drive through here. It's getting a bit more chilly, so just put a jumper on. We can't do fires with the fire restriction, obviously, that are now taking place in Victoria. So we'll probably have an early night of sleep. So we've changed camping location to have breakfast where we spent the night last night. Got a little bit too windy this morning. We woke up to a beautiful sunrise though, so that was an incredible start of the day. So I'm the one making breakfast. Usually Chris is the one doing the coffees. So we usually have the same breakfast, but this morning I'm really craving something like sweet. So I'm gonna have a quinoa porridge with like banana, peanut butter, some nuts and protein powder. And Chris, I'm just making him some Mexican beans with some eggs. So yeah, we'll just cook and have breakfast here and carry on for driving. This is the Mahoka hut. What is really nice is that you can only walk to it, so you can't actually camp by your car just here. So it's really preserved. There is no trash, and it's really close to the campsite. Really cute hut.
All right, so low range Ange is back.
Yes, to Mount Wellington.
So, using hammer to guide our way. This is rated medium. Billy Goats Bluff Track was rated difficult. it wasn't so bad, so we know this track isn't going to be too dodgy. There's been a fire very recently, the whole forest is burnt around here.
We're having a little pit stop at Miller's Hut, just at lunch. Gonna have a coffee. It's very similar to the Mahoka hut. So would have loved to camp here as well, because it's getting quite cold at night. Like the fire, you can actually feel the heat still. So people would have just left, but it's only midday. So it's a bit too early to set camp for us. So we'll carry on, go back on Mount Wellington Track, and probably find another hut where we could park next to. That'd be pretty cool. So this is campsite number 2, surrounded by forest. So it's like an open valley. It's really nice and peaceful here. Looks like some people camped here recently at a fire. There's as well a lot of trash, which really upset us. So we'll take that with us in the rubbish bag. And then there's a hut over there, which unfortunately is under renovation. So just the fire pit is out of order, like it looks like it caved, so we won't be using the fireplace unfortunately, but it should be fine. We should have still a nice evening here.
So that's where we started. So we've gone all the way down to Miller's Hut. We were earlier, back up. We've come all the way through, and And now we're here. So we've done 136k. And then we're gonna go, do you want to take Caledonia or do you want to go Butcher Country?
Okay, we need to count how many K.
So our big fear out here aren't the tracks, no matter how difficult they become. We seem to be able to tackle them fine. It's more running out of fuel. So we are half a tank of gas down now, which is roughly 40 litres of petrol. We have a 20 litre jerry can, which we'll put into the tank now. And we've already done 136 kilometres. So we're just going to calculate whether we need to backtrack all the way back to a town called Nicola and get more gas. We would probably lose at least half a day, maybe even longer in driving to do that. Also, fuel is maybe 30% more in these smaller towns at the moment, maybe even a little bit more than that.
Yeah.
So ideally, from our hut today, we can do all the rest of the tracks over the next couple of days and then hit Nicola to exit the Victoria High Country. So Ange is just going to calculate how much further we need to go in order to do the tracks and come all the way back to Nicola. If it is more than what we have already done, we will can it and we'll have to head to Nicola, because I get stressed out about running out of fuel and it will ruin that end part of the trip for me with just stressing and just trying to keep the revs low and all that. On highway speeds, we're at about 17 litres per 100. But when we're doing low range, we go up to around about 20. So then it's harder to calculate how much we're going to use.
So what is really handy with that map is you can actually see the kilometers along the track. So I've calculated in total from where we are to the end point is 108 kilometers. So we should be absolutely fine. So we're actually here at the moment. So we'll tackle Dingo Hill and then we'll go up Caledonia Track. And then that's a nice little loop. And then go back down towards Nicola. So that should potentially take us, what, maybe 2 more days? Maybe, yeah. So that's a nice little adventure. And that's actually better than having to go back to town. So hopefully we'll be fine. But yeah, it seems like by the calculation, we should be absolutely fine.
Fingers crossed.
So what for dinner, Chris?
Tonight, butter chicken. Pretty good meal. The jar was only $2. And then just some steamed rice, which is also on special, so it cooks really, really fast. And this will make 2 dinners, so I'll have this tomorrow night as well.
Nice. A little meal prep on the road.
Yep. All right, Ange, what are we having?
Okay, so tonight I'm having some falafel patties that I'm making from a falafel mix, really handy, with some sourdough wraps, some tomato, cucumber, lettuce, and hummus. So this should be as well 2 meals, so I'll keep the other one as well for tomorrow. So that's a pretty good tip as well on the road, is to make a bigger dinner so that you can have the leftovers the day after.
So we've decided we have so much footage that we're going to split the Victorian High Country into 2 episodes. So thanks very much for watching this one, guys. Click that like button if you enjoyed it.
And stay tuned for part 2.
Coming very soon.